Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Today's video is, I thought long and hard about which one I was going to do today. I did take if you follow me on Instagram, I did take a poll asking what my next video should be, and a lot of it was on grief and what I was doing after the celebration of life, after everything kind of settled, and what I'm doing to deal with all of this. So I decided that I would talk about it. There are other topics that I decided that I would do at a later time. But first of all, I do want to thank everybody for following me on this journey. A lot of you started following us when we were together, doing the videos together. Some of them were by Mike by himself. And now, obviously, he told me he wanted me to continue the brand, leave the barrage open, and I told him I would continue the story. And I really feel like it's crazy how to think that people are so invested in our story and they want me to continue it. And as you guys know, Mike started the channel as more of a therapy type thing, and he would do it together. We would do it together and talk about our marriage and how we met and my feelings on his cancer journey and how it was affecting me. And if you watch it from the very bottom all the way to the top, it's basically it's kind of like a diary of his treatments and where we were at, going up and down in all of the whole journey itself. And then sprinkled in there would be stories about him and growing up and who he was as a person. So I think I'm going to continue that same pattern. And obviously, you guys can message me, ask me questions, and I will do my best to answer them in this format. I do plan on doing some lives as well, which I would like to do because it seems like you guys like lives too. So with that being said, let me just jump into this. And this one is going to be about grief and Mike's wishes for me and how I'm navigating through all of this, because it's not easy. I lost my son to suicide November 4th, and Mike passed away April 5th. So it was 5 months, almost to the day later, that within 5 months I lost my child and my husband. Although my child was not expected, but Keegan was struggling with depression for a few years, and you as a parent, you always want the best for your children. And maybe there was a part of me that was in a little bit of a denial of how deep his depression was. Towards the end, like the last year, I knew how deep it really was, and we tried to help him as much as we could. But the day when you get that phone call, when you get that, your child is gone, these doctors are telling you that your child is gone, it's crippling. It's a crippling feeling in your gut. It knocks you out. I remember when the doctors told me that he didn't make it. I remember looking at my oldest son, because at that moment it was just my oldest son and myself at the hospital, and they had us in a private room, and these doctors come in, and then this grief counselor comes in. And I remember just looking at him, and it was like everything was in slow motion. And I remember seeing him, my baby, happy, growing, baseball, football, boxing, and it was just all of these things, and I could not understand that he is no longer here. My mind could not comprehend it, but my soul, my heart was just in horrible pain, and it still is. With Mike, I called it our long goodbye. When your spouse, a loved one, a parent, a child, a sibling is fighting cancer, there's always that possibility that they're not going to survive it. When Mike was diagnosed with his cancer, they caught it already at stage 4. So I was always very hopeful that he would beat it. Our friends who hung out with us, who know us on a personal level, who've been in our home, they would see him and he looked healthy. He didn't look like he had cancer, but he did have cancer. He had cancer, aggressive cancer. There was a time that he started losing his hair, and right away he did not want to see himself like that. So right away he shaved it off. And then it kind of grew back again when there was in between different types of treatments that he was on. So we got to plan his goodbye, his death, and his wishes for me, what he wanted me to do, what he wanted me to stay here as long as I wanted. It was just very different. But at the same time, I remember when he passed, it was just as traumatizing. I took care of him. I went to his doctor's appointments. I never left his side. For 2 years and 4 months, I never left his side. I never did anything without him. When he was very sick, I was right there with him. I remember there was times he would tell me, "You don't have to lay in this bed with me." And I would tell him, I'm going to lay in bed with you. You can tell me that, but I'm going to lay in bed with you. And we would just put on some movies. He would fall asleep. I would fall asleep. He would wake up. I would wake up. And it was like that for over 2 years. And at the very end, he did apologize to me, and he said, "I'm so sorry that you have to do this. You have to go through this with me." And I told him, don't be sorry. I love you. I'm your wife. You're my husband. I feel blessed that I'm able to do this for you. And for me, it really was. And I still look at it that way. Like, Mike gave me a love that women would love to have. Like, he protected me. He protected our marriage. He put our marriage as a priority. And when he did that, I was part of that priority, and I felt it. I felt his love. I would see it in his eyes when he would look at me. So I always, and I did what I did. I took care of him with the same love that he gave me. I remember the nurses would come in, the hospice nurses would come in, and they would say, "He's really lucky to have you." And I remember looking at them like, what are you talking about? Well, there's really nothing for us to do. They come in, you've done everything. You've done everything that they're supposed to do. And I said, "Well, isn't that how it's supposed to be? And isn't that how it's always done?" And they would look at me and they say, "No, it's not like that." And they would say, "He's really lucky," but I feel like we were both very lucky to have found each other. And I don't want to say lucky. I want to say more, it was destiny. We were destined to be together. If you've followed our journey and our other videos, you know how we met. And how everything, I don't believe in coincidences. People who know me know I say that a lot. I no longer believe in coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. You may not understand it at the time, but it comes to light later on. It could be in a few months, it could be in a weeks, it could be in a couple years, but then you kind of have that moment where like, I get it now, I understand it. So ever since Mike got diagnosed, I knew that was our purpose. That was our purpose. It was the reason why we met, why he found me, because he found me. and why we were so connected the minute we met each other. And then when my son passed away, it was even more so. And Mike taught me a lot. Mike taught me about strength, about using my voice, about respect, about grace. We learned a lot from each other, and those are the things that I learned from him being with him. His videos, he journaled his videos of the person he was before me, and you won't see the person he was when he met me. And we have mutual people that were his friends that knew him before me and after, and they have come into my home, sat down with me, and we've spent hours talking about what an impact meeting me did on him. A lot of people have told me that, a lot of his friends. And I guess for me, grief comes in waves. Now that he's also gone, he kept me very strong with the passing of my son. And the minute he passed away, I remember that first week was a whirlwind. I remember the day he passed away, I didn't even realize I had been wearing slippers the whole time. People were here. They were saying goodbye to him. The whole time I was in an MGMT t-shirt, rock t-shirt, band t-shirt, some black leggings and some slippers, and my hair was up. I didn't have any makeup on, and I didn't even realize the whole day that I had been that way in slippers. I laugh at it now, and I think Mike would have hated that. But grief is hitting me now. Yesterday I had a really bad day. I was at work, and I was just sitting there, and it was starting to hit me, and I missed my child very much. And I was looking at his pictures at my break, and I wanted to just smell him. I could almost smell him, the way his skin smelled. And I just started crying, and I kind of like pushed it away because I was at work. And then I started thinking of Mike, and because Mike would bring me coffee every day. And I heard the door open, and I just envisioned Mike coming in through the door at my job. And I remember leaving my work last night and going into my car, and I'm seeing everybody driving away, and I'm kind of just sitting in my car, and I realized that I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go home because Mike wasn't going to be there, and Keegan wasn't going to be with me. And I just started sobbing. I broke down and cried very, very hard. And I cried to God. I said Keegan's name. I cried to Mike, and I remember I just let it all out, and I sat in that parking lot crying for like 30 minutes. And everybody was gone, and I sat there and I wiped my tears away, and I said, I can do this. And then I drove home. Work distracts me. So it's good to be back at work, around the girls, around my doctors, around the patients. I don't work nights, or I don't work weekends, so that's when I feel their absence more. How do I navigate grief? I have not been to therapy, although I push therapy a lot to people who message me. I have not gone to grief counseling or therapy. There will be a time that I will do it, but I'm just not ready to do that right now. And I realize that grief is, you do it at your pace. There's no wrong or right way. Just like Mike's cancer journey, that was the way he chose to do it. It wasn't a wrong way. It was his way. Grief is the same way. Does it make people uncomfortable? Yes, it does. It does. It's uncomfortable because you don't know what to say. But I'm going to tell you something right now. You don't have to say anything at all. just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. Hey, I'm just checking in. I noticed that the first week that Mike was gone, there was a lot of people just coming and going, which I appreciated it. But there was a time by Wednesday or Thursday of the week after he died, I remember telling somebody, I want to be alone. I need to be alone. And I just needed to not have people around me, because I needed to kind of process everything. And I don't think I really have fully processed everything until now. So Keegan passed away in November. We're now in June. Mike passed away in April. Again, we're now in June. And I feel like I'm feeling it all now. That I no longer have my child and I no longer have my husband. So how do I do it? I don't. I just get up every day. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. I don't stay in bed. I get up, I take a shower. There were days that I would get up. I never was one to stay in bed all day. So I would get up, take a shower, get ready, come downstairs, sit on the couch, and just scroll through all of our pictures. Scroll through all our pictures, our old messages. And the day would fly by so fast, and I didn't even realize that I was sitting on the couch just doing that. And that's grief. That's what I did. There was days that I would look at both of their pictures, go back through our conversations. Then there was also a time that I would start self-doubting myself. Did I do enough as a wife? Did I do enough as a mother? Did Mike know how much I loved him? Did I show enough love? Did I do enough for him? Did he know how much he meant to me? How much meeting him was a blessing to me? Did he know that? I would start creating doubt. But everything to this point that has carried me through has been prayers. I feel the prayers. I don't know how else to describe it other than a peace that has come over me. It happened with me with my son. It happened with me with Mike. Like a day after or 2 days after, there was just this calmness. That doesn't mean I don't feel the pain. I have pain, very deep rooted pain that I feel is never going to go away, because I love them so much. I love them. So of course I'm going to feel pain, and it's never going to go away. They're always going to be a part of me. They're in my heart, and I have to work through that. I think the sadness will be less. The pain will always be there, but just different. People say I'm strong. I don't know if it's strength. I think more like, what else am I supposed to do? I cannot. As crippling as losing a child is, and Keegan and I were extremely close. We were very, very close. My kids are 12 years apart. So when Will went to the Navy, Keegan was a little kid. He was a little boy. So Will was 18 when he left. So Keegan was six years old. And then my ex was a firefighter. So he would do multiple days, 2, 3, 4 days away. So it was just me and Keegan by ourselves in the house. So Keegan and I, it was like he was an only child. My oldest was gone in the Navy. Keegan was with me all the time. We did everything together. We were extremely close. He was my baby. And those waves of grief come. I've had people reach out to me that they've had dreams of Keegan, that Keegan has come to them in their dreams. My oldest son has dreamt of Keegan. I haven't yet. I had a couple dreams of Keegan, but it was not like those dreams that are being told to me. They're more like, oh, I knew he was around, or he was a little boy. A couple of our friends, even people that I don't even know, messaged me and said they had dreams about Mike or Keegan and Mike, which was really weird. And I haven't had those dreams, and I want to see them in my dreams, and I haven't. And I don't know if it's grief that's blocking it. I don't know, but I'll be patient and wait for that. Mike wanted me to be happy. He didn't want me to stay in this house and mourn him for long. He told me a couple of days before he passed, he asked me to go sit by the bed. I was sleeping on the couch, and he told me, don't mourn me too long. Don't be in this house. Live your life. Be happy. Live it. You're going to start over. You're going to be okay. Live your life. Live your life. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Thank you for taking care of me, for loving me. You were a good wife. So that's really hard to do, because grief doesn't allow you to see the future. It's kind of like, it's just a day, one day at a time. I know I would love to travel. I used to do a lot of traveling before I met Mike. And when I think about traveling, I get sad, because he was my person, and I would love to travel with him. So I think that's probably why I haven't done it yet. Just like I haven't gone back to the movie theater. The movies is something that my little boy and I used to do a lot. The week before he passed away, we had went to the movies for his birthday. So there's just things that grief does, that it holds you. Grief is weird. There's things in the house that Mike bought that they're silly. It's dumb. Like the last time we went to the market, he bought something, and I still have it in the cupboard. And I'll look at it and I'll touch it and I'll start crying, because Mike bought that and he never got to eat it. And as silly as it is, I don't have the heart to throw it away. Little things like that, that's what grief does to you. And there is no timeline of when you're supposed to do all this. There's no timeline of when am I supposed to take his clothes out? When am I supposed to move his toothbrush? So my son moved in, my oldest son moved in with me, so I did move his toothbrush, because I didn't want him to get it accidentally thrown away. But I still have all his colognes are still there, his shoes, his clothes. When Mike was alive, he did start selling some of his Pendletons and Dixons, and because he's like, I want you to start doing that now, and I want you to continue doing it after, which I still haven't done, and eventually I will get to it. Mike has a lot of clothes that he took care of, and instead of me looking at it as I'm giving these things, I'm selling these things that were his, I actually had some people that had bought some of the Pendletons when he was still alive, but he was really sick, he was still on hospice, that would send me a message saying, hey, I got the Pendleton, now I have a piece of Mike with me always. And I was like, well, that's true. I have to look at it like that. Everybody, the people who really liked Mike, that's their way of getting something of Mike. And it makes me feel happy that I'm able to give that. I'm very aware of the impact that he had. I read all your messages. Those messages float me. They carry me. Your prayers carry me. My son's story, people sharing it, or they reach out to me and say, a friend of mine, their child just committed suicide. is it okay if I send them your way? And I say, of course, you know. I have adults, men who reach out to me that they're struggling. I have women reach out to me that they're struggling. I have teens reaching out to me saying they contemplated suicide. And I'm not a therapist. I'm only sharing my journey. And I always tell people, get help, seek help. If you go to my Instagram, I posted, with the help of Mike's friend Mondo, if you're watching this, thank you, Mondo. He sent me a list of all of the counties in the state of California with their crisis hotline numbers for that county. And the counties, those numbers have resources, and some of them are free, that people can take advantage of. So if you are in crisis, if you are struggling, if you know you're someone who's struggling and you don't know what to do, where to go, I recommend calling these numbers and asking for those resources. If you have insurance, look into your insurance and see if therapy is an option. If you go to a therapist and you don't like them, go see a different one. You have to keep moving. Do not give up. Do not sit in that grief. I know it's hard. I watched my child struggle. Watching him struggle, I was struggling too, so I understand it. And I struggle with it now even. Did I do enough? Should I have done more? But my advice to you is you cannot go back and question every move that you make, because that's a rabbit hole you're going to go down and you can get stuck in. Do not get stuck down in a rabbit hole of I should have, I would have, should I have, what if. Do not do that. It's too late for that. You just have to keep moving forward. What am I going to do? Somebody asked me, what are my plans for my future? Right now, I don't know what the future is for me, because right now I'm trying to heal. I'm trying to figure out tomorrow. That's what I'm trying to do. I want to heal. Right now, my goal is to start hanging out with our friends again, start going to events again, start hanging out with the people that Mike loved, start seeing my family and hanging out with my family more. I'm ready for that. Because before that, I wanted to be alone. I needed to be alone in my grief. And it's okay to be alone in your grief, because you have to face it. You can't pretend it's not there, because if you don't do it right away and you let a year go by, 2 years go by, you're only prolonging the inevitable of grief is going to surface and it's going to hit you. So I sat alone with my grief for 2 months. And just recently, which I think was like a week ago, some of you may have seen me out at an event, but I went to the event, then I went to the Lemon Festival, and I remember when I went to the event, I went to a Hug Fest, and then on my way home, the group that I was going to the Lemon Festival, and I said, no, I'm not going to go, I'm going to go home. But I stopped by the cemetery to visit Keegan, and then when I got home, I opened up the garage, and I kind of stood here, and I walked in the house, and my oldest son was gone, and I said, I can't do this, I can't stay here. So I texted my friends, and I was like, where are you guys at? And I just left and went back to the Lemon Festival. So that's where I'm at in my grief. I'm ready to start living life again. There are moments that I have guilt for having a good time. That's normal. It's part of grief as well. Because it felt like I was leaving them behind. I felt like I'm creating all these new memories without Keegan and Mike. I started feeling guilt, like it messes with you. It messes with your head. But I talk about them a lot. I bring up their names every single day. Bring them up every single day. Keegan and Mike's names is brought up in my world every day. And it makes me happy. It brings me comfort. So Mike wanted me to live my life, to be happy, to not mourn him forever, or at least to be stuck in this house mourning him forever. He knows me very well. So my goal is to just do that, keep the brand going, keep the YouTube videos going. So that is what my goal is. But again, it's day to day. So today was a good day for me. Yesterday wasn't a good day. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to go to my nephew's birthday party. Let's see how tomorrow is when I wake up. Sometimes I sleep well, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I eat, sometimes I can go all day without eating. So, or sometimes I can eat a lot during the day. It's just, everything is in waves. Everything is in waves. There is no wrong or right way to grieve. I think us as humans need to respect the way someone is grieving. You know, if it bothers you or it makes you uncomfortable, then don't be around that person. You know, there's probably people that unfollowed me already because all I've been posting is about my family and my grief and my purpose. It could be annoying to some people, but it's okay. I don't care. You know, that's something Mike taught me. What am I going to do? What my purpose is now loud and clear for me. My purpose is to bring awareness of mental health, teen suicide. That is what I will do to keep my son's name alive. Bring awareness to parents, bring awareness to the community, our Hispanic, Latino, Chicano community. We don't talk about these things. We were raised that we don't talk about our feelings like that. I'm especially my generation. I'm going to be 52 next month, and we didn't talk about depression, or our parents didn't say if they ever suffered from it. It's like now we just didn't talk about that. If you were a man and you had these thoughts, well, you just had to suck it up and you had to not say it because then you were considered weak. But it takes a lot of courage, a lot of strength to say that you're not well, that you need help. I think it's very brave. It's very courageous. And us as human beings need to be there for one another. Find that person that'll listen, that'll be there for you with no judgments. Because people who are suffering from depression and anxieties and suicidal thoughts, they're afraid. They want to talk to people. They really do. They're just afraid of being judged. And I think us as their family, their friends, their brothers, their sisters, their parent, we need to learn that we're not going to have the answers, because you're not going to have the answers, but you can listen with an open ear and an open heart that's filled with love, and just listen. Because my son, and I saved it and I posted it on my Instagram, I remember him saying on there, "Mom, when I tell you that I'm not feeling okay, I just want you to hug me and tell me you love me and that it's going to be okay." That's all he wanted from me. He didn't want me to judge him. And I am getting a lot of messages that are very inspiring, that are sad, that are inspiring, that are beautiful, that mine and Mike's story helped them maybe cause uncomfortable conversations to have with their spouses, or my son Keegan's story has brought an awareness in their home that maybe they need to be a little bit more understanding and sit down with their children and ask them what's going on in their heads. So my plans for me, I would love to be able to talk about my son and our story, whoever wants to listen to it. I've been asked to do a a couple podcasts, be as a guest on a couple podcasts. I'm open to that. I would love to be able to share the story at maybe like youth camps or schools. I would be open to doing that too. I just don't know how to do all that. But that's for the future, because right now I'm still figuring things out. I'm still doing that. And for me, maybe this is a form of therapy. Maybe this is my therapy, sharing the story, not being 100% sure if I'm going to make a left or a right. It's real. This is real. This is grief. Just because you see me strong doesn't mean that I don't cry, because I do. I cry. There's not a day that does not go by that I don't cry. Maybe my eyes get a little watery. Maybe one day I'm sobbing. Maybe one day I go the whole day with just being great and feeling okay. And then at night, when you're laying in bed and you're staring at the ceiling and you're in the stillness of the dark, is when a lot of things kind of hit you. But that's okay. That's okay. It's part of grief, and I'm one with it, and I accept it. I accept what it is. So this is the video. I'm trying to keep the videos kind of short for you guys. I'm trying to keep them at about 30 minutes. But somebody had asked me, or several of you had asked me about, what am I doing for grief? What am I doing? How am I feeling? What did Mike want from me? I am not going to be riding the bike. Mike did not want me to ride the bike. He never wanted me to ride a bike. So the bike is, some people ask me about the bike too. It's not being sold. It's staying here with me. He gave the bike to my son, and my son will be riding the bike. So that's the video for today. I again thank you all for just being there with your stories, for being honest and real and raw. When you're sending me these messages, I do read them. Again, I do. It's really hard to reply to everybody. Sometimes I'll just like it, but just know that I do go through them, and I do read them, and I appreciate everyone's honesty and being real. In a way, I appreciate that, because I'm that way. Mike was like that too. What you see is what you get. I'm the same way. Right now, do I feel broken? Yeah, I'm broken. But I'm ready to heal, and that's where I'm at in my journey with all of this. And so I thank you all for the support that you've given me throughout the past 2 years, over 2 years since Mike got his diagnosis. The appreciation and seeing our marriage, our love, and being there for my son, and listening and wanting to know more about my struggles and Keegan's struggles as well. I'll do a whole other video on that too. But thank you again for all the love and support you've given my family, me, my kids, and just being there for us during this time. So if there's something different that you want to hear, please message me, follow me on my Instagram page. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps. And I am going to try to do at least a live once a month, and maybe it'll be on the same day. I don't know what your guys' thoughts. Do you guys want to chime in and would want me to do a live? Maybe there's a topic you guys wanted to bring it about. But what are my plans for the future? I'm going to start talking about teen suicide, mental health, bringing that awareness to our people. And for my husband, keeping his legacy alive, keeping his name going, keeping the brand going, giving his friends still this space to come and be with him here. So with that being said, thank you. Have a good night, and I will talk to you guys soon.